The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
I just want to get my nose thing out of the way, Kevin, because it's going to be visible. There's no way for me to fucking hide this, and the litany of comments about, oh, what did he bang his nose on Kev's taint when he was blowing him? Like, just to kind of stave off that up front. I had some biopsies performed on my nose here, one on the side over here, and then one on the top. So I am bandaged on the face, pending the result, and I'm not optimistic. You added to my joy by telling me your experience from last year. I remember when it happened, but I remember you healing pretty quickly. My wife already went online, found the best cancer hospital in New York, best plastic surgeons, line everything up, and be ready to pull the trigger when I have to.
There's just something about when they say it's melanoma. Because
now, what's the difference between...
melanoma can metastasize.
Right. Now, is basal cell carcinoma a melanoma, or a melanoma and carcinoma are two different things? See how educated I am on this as I go into surgery?
I had what you have, the other one, the basal cell carcinoma.
Basal cell carcinoma.
I had that in my groin from fucking tanning in tanning beds naked, and
Right.
We used to just take they give you that little towel on the road. You got to fucking stay tan, so I would just take that and put it over my hose and tuck it underneath my balls so that I wouldn't cook my privates, but. I had to, so I went in and I was sitting there, and, you trim yourself up, and, it was just like, it was like, I irritated, like when I shaved over it, I irritated something. So I just asked Tamara, I said, I can't really look down there. So she said, okay. And then she goes, you need to go Isabella's our dermatologist. She was like, you need to go see Isabella because that doesn't look right. And then I went in there and she fucking so I had to fucking, had to basically have the assistant hold my shaft and scroti while she cut this shit out, and it's like.
Did you get wood?
No, it was
okay.
By the time, you know how that goes. Like it's Tommy Turtle, Oh, the head is so far in the shell,
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's basically a urethra and fucking some pubic hair.
So they only needed one hand to lift.
No, they didn't need one. Once she started, I was numbed up, but it's like I'm not some, if you're cutting me by my penis, because it's not a cock at that point. It's a cock if you're gonna fucking. It's true. When it's biological or it's medical, it's a penis. When you're behind some fucking hot piece of ass,
right?
Or your cellmate, it's a fucking cock.
Right. Glad we got all that in the first 30 seconds of the show.
You got to make sure.
All the kids on the way to school this morning, dropping off the kids. If you are, this is Kliq This, episode 208. If you like to keep track of those kind of things, Kev, we've been doing this 208 weeks. Is what the 208 means. And people talk about our theme song a lot, right? And how it's maybe rings a little similar to a Stones cut. completely unintentionally.
Do you? I've never really got. I guess it does.
Well, echoes of it.
Yeah.
Which got me to the Rolling Stone magazine compilation of the 50 greatest rock bands. I'm saying rock, but I'm looking through the list, and let's just say popular music.
See, I just got the on X because I follow it. I got the top 10.
Yeah.
So I just got the top 10 on.
Well, you brought up a band, and I wanted to see where they were. So
Right.
I got the full deal, the full 50 to see where they landed on here.
So let's give the top 10 because I think that's
all right.
So.
Right. And if one comes up, I can tell you where.
Do you
where
want to
it
read
landed.
them or you want me to read them?
Well, go backwards. Start at 10. And
Right,
and what
10.
I want you to do is I want to see if you and I both give a check to the placement of the top 10. Go ahead.
Okay,
Number
so
10.
number 10 is the Doors.
Well, let's back up. What makes a band great? This is the greatest bands. Are we just talking about musically? Are we talking about societal significance to the business, the industry?
Yeah, I think this is the argument we have with Hulk Hogan.
Right.
He's not the greatest worker.
But we can say he's the greatest, just like we could say these top 10 are the greatest.
Exactly.
All right. Well done.
So
All right.
I
10 the Doors.
I think we're going that way. So 10 the Doors. I'm a huge Doors fan. So I mean, I'll for the sake of our conversation, I'll definitely leave them in my top 10.
Yeah, I will too.
Velvet Underground.
See, this was the one that I texted you back.
They're not in my top 10.
No, and I don't know. Listen, I dig Lou Reed, but I'm looking at some of what comes after the top 10, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, they've got Nirvana at 8. They weren't around long enough for me to put them in that spot.
See, the 8 and 7 had me confused.
See, I'm such a Radiohead fan that, and they've been around a while. I think it's Nirvana to me is one of 5 bands that kind of came out during that era.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my whole question is if somebody from that group is going to make it, Nirvana would be maybe even 4th. Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, but I mean Pearl Jam would be my choice.
If you're taking that genre, let's call it grunge.
Well, let's just take the Seattle scene.
Seattle, sure.
The Seattle scene, and I mean, I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan, and I mean, there's still, Obama had his library open, and Eddie was there. So I mean, he's still, Eddie's Eddie. So number 6 is the Who. I was never a giant Who fan, and I don't know if all the CSIs hurt them because they were the theme song for all the CSIs. But like one of my favorite CSI is always going to be Miami, and just so happened that Adam Rodriguez was in that, and we became great friends out of it. But like that, like that. So, but the Who's not in my top 10. Zeppelin, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
At number 5, Pink Floyd, number 4, no problem. U2, number 3, no. They're not
U2
mine.
at 3.
That's strong, man.
I could keep them in top 10.
Where's Ozzy?
All right, so I was going to bring up Black Sabbath, which is at 39. And I don't know that you have the modern heavy metal scene if you don't have Black Sabbath. So I think Sabbath has to be in the top 10. And it wasn't even close. They have at 39, which I don't get.
Right.
Lower than AC/DC, which I don't think there's an AC/DC if there's not a Sabbath. So I think Sabbath has to be up there.
Then 2 and 3 are 2 is the Stones and 1 is the Beatles. And I look at the Beatles, and we had we had a discussion beforehand, and it's like people don't realize, like, from "I Love You, Yeah, Yeah, Yeah" to "Let It Be on the Roof" was 7 years. From Magical Mystery Tour to Sgt. Pepper's to it's just unbelievable that's 7 years is all they were around.
Yes, so much of that accomplishment is spellbinding when you think about it. The short amount of time they were able to have such a significant influence on music. I think as we get older and as years go by, I don't think younger people understand what the Beatles did by showing up on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1963. What music was before that night and what music was after that night was completely different. And it was four dudes that did that.
Yeah, and I mean, Elvis had impact during that era. But I just think, of course, he's not we're talking about bands. Mm-hmm. I mean, Elvis, I think, had, he had that hysteria. But I think that Elvis being shipped off and doing the films that he did for so long, and the Stones just have been so good for so long. I remember the first time I heard Honky Tonk Woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the visualization of her taking me upstairs for a ride, and I'm a kid. And just like, you could film that 1,000 ways with, I don't even think Tarantino could do it justice to what I visualize in my brain,
So thinking not of the significance of the Beatles, just Beatles, Stones, music, they always say you're either a Stones guy, and it permeates the rest of your life in different ways. You're a Stones guy or you're a Beatles guy.
I would say that I'm a Beatles guy over the
really?
Stones.
I was always a Stones guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to text you right now, Kevin, the rest of this list, because the question I want to ask you is who should have been in this top 10 that didn't make it? For me, Sabbath is the one omission.
What was that band that had Bubba and Moxley in it?
It was called Working on Radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they in the top 50?
No, I don't see them here.
All right.
So I want you to see who else could have slid up there, because it sounds like, based on your list, which we'll go with, because this is the Kevin Nash podcast, there's room, because U2 would be removed. U2 would be removed under your tenet. Velvet Underground would be removed, and Nirvana in place of Radiohead. So 3. You got 3 spots to fill. Actually, The Who, I think you said, could be removed too, right? So you got 4 that you could slide up. Yeah, like, I'm puzzled by some of this.
To me, like, was Hendrix and the Experience not considered, like, Hendrix is not considered a band? Like the Hendrix with the Experience?
Oh.
Because Hendrix is nowhere on this fucking list.
They use the word band, so you're right.
I think that they take him as a solo act, right?
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, for all intents and purposes,
and that of course would do the same for Joplin.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, man. Like, You have T-Rex, which I grew up with. I mean,
Yeah, but ahead of Queen, though. I mean,
and ahead of Pearl Jam, ahead of
yeah. And the I'd love to know the thinking, because the presence of some of these on this list at all, like Kraftwerk and Arcade Fire.
Yeah, correct. And then I think, like somebody my age who grew up with Dire Straits, but as we got older and we saw the genius of his guitar work, like I find myself like listening. I've got downloaded on a few things, like several Dire Straits cuts. I see Depeche Mode's like is up there.
It's up there because they're the highest of that genre.
18s, which
electronica.
But I mean, to me, like the Smiths being 15 is. I mean, the Beach Boys. It's very, very hard for me to have the Beach Boys not be in the top 10. For that era. Anybody that's my age, we all grew up with that Endless Summer double
that Surf Sound,
that double vinyl, and my tag in Florida is like a silhouette of a dude with a surfboard, and it says underneath it "Endless Summer." So that was ingrained in my brain. It was also my first concert as a 7th grader, and I got so fucking wasted. I mean, fucking a couple of penners, fucking drank like 2 bottles of Boone's Farm.
That is technically my first concert too, because they played after a New York Cosmos soccer game at Giant Stadium.
It's Tamara's first
You're
concert.
kidding.
No.
The fucking Beach Boys?
The Beach Boys.
It's a very unlikely first concert for anybody
and
who's not 80.
3 people in our little. We go to Hyde Park.
We're gonna have Mike Love and Brian. Well, not Brian Wilson, I guess, but is Mike Love still alive? Are any of them still alive? I don't know. We'll have some here. Steve, is it your first too? Are you ribbing? Steve, did you see that? Was that your first concert in Wildwood, New Jersey?
No rib. I've been told by my parents that was my first concert. I don't have any recollection.
Were you in your mother's stomach or something?
No, I was just real young, so I'm told. I consider Woodstock '99 my first concert, but I've been corrected that it's not.
Okay.
Just
Mike Love is alive and 85 years old.
Just the fact that your parents took you to the Beach Boys speaks volumes. I saw them at Pine Knob. Up in
that was a theater, wasn't it?
Yeah, still there, man.
You're kidding? Wow.
It's still there. I saw everyone there. I saw Ozzy there. I saw the Thompson Twins. I mean, you name it. I saw the Smiths there. I saw Ozzy there. Joe Jackson.
Smith's at number 15 on this list, by the way.
Yeah.
No one's counting.
The
Eagles aren't on here at all.
No. But are they rock and roll? See, I don't think Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young are rock and roll. I think Young is. I think if you take Southern Man and some of his distorted, like guitar vibes, but I don't.
Oh, his guitar.
I think yeah. And I mean,
you know what, dude? I'm looking at this list. Sly Stone as a solo is there at 33. So
I would have Sugar in my top 50. I would have some version of one of
Bob's group. Okay,
one of Bob's, because he was.
I probably would have put in Husker Du though.
I would go Husker Du. Are the Smashing Pumpkins on here?
I didn't see them.
It's such a. It's like when you do anything top 50.
That's hard to do.
You know, like once you, 10 is kind of safe, but of course theirs wasn't to us. But my buddy Conrad loves U2, like that. My buddy Conrad would that you know.
They were really important.
But I don't know how if you didn't smoke if you weren't like a huge weed guy, like we all thought like the guys that were as you were deemed in my era the burnouts, we were all the fucking Pink Floyd guys.
Floyd, right? Yeah.
You know.
See, I think U2 should be in the top 10, but at number 3, I mean, I think I'd put Zeppelin at number 3. Beatles, Stones, Zeppelin at 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think that to me, like Zeppelin is the essential rock and roll band, because they started with rock and roll.
And that model, the guitarist on fire with I mean, David Lee Roth, Vince Neil, they were all inspired, let's say, by that Robert Plant and Jimmy Page.
But and then you look at Page, man, and he was such a brilliant guitarist.
Mm-hmm. One of those groups too, Kev, I was talking to a musician about specifically Zeppelin. One of those groups that if you changed any one of those 4, you would have a totally different sound.
Yeah, because Bonham, I mean, it was just...
Oh, Bonham was fucking unbelievable.
He was a monster.
Dude, this is the shit that I wish T was here for, like these discussions, like hearing his influences and like when he would write, like if any of these old school cats from being played like in your home were in his head. Was he into like Zeppelin or
fuck! From an early when he was 3-4 years old, I had a best of Zeppelin. I had we listened to Sabbath. We listened to, of course, the Beatles. And that was back when you had that. I mean, I think the greatest thing on earth was the iPod. Like where you just had a thing that you could download music on, and it didn't fuck with your phone's battery. And you could, you know what I mean? Just, I think that was like the first. But you know, I was always, I to this day was, when music came out, I would go to either Best Buys or Circuit City, and I would just, because I was making coin, like when the new CDs dropped, I'd buy 12 or 14 CDs. I'd buy whatever was out because I was going on the road.
Yeah.
And I remember everybody was telling me about Korn, and I was driving. I was by myself, and I was in a Lincoln Continental. And it was one of those deals where I was so into, like at that time of my life, I was so into like Tupac and that whole death row sound, that Korn was so far from my. I listened to like 30 seconds of it, ejected it, put the window down, and slung it out the window. It's like, no.
You got rid of the CD?
Through. And then 2 years later, like actually on something, like heard like 2 or 3 cuts, and I said, oh, I guess I should have gave it a chance, and then I end up, but there's still it's very select. Like I can listen to sound like like it's funny how like Sirius, the music, the music channel,
the radio,
the XM. So it's like I'll start off like like 1 week I might just be in like an R&B groove, and I'll burn it out, man, and then from there I'll go to classic
soul. You put on classic soul.
I can do classic vinyls.
Yeah, but for the R&B, you go to classic.
Yeah, I go to the R&B. I go classic. Yeah, classic
right.
soul. Yeah, okay. And then I go classic vinyls, and then I go like so. Right now I'm on is it Lithium, which is all
that's like the 90s.
It's like all the.
You're getting a little corn, I bet, on Lithium.
Well, I'm getting. I mean, so right now today they had the. I'm horrible with names, but it's the guitar player from Soundgarden. I think his name's Kim something. And they were doing like a deep cut. He just put a memoir out, and Cornell was like, if I could have anyone's voice, I would have Cornell's voice.
Chris Cornell. Did you ever hear the acoustic "Nothing Compares to You"?
The one at fucking Stearns
at the studio at Sirius XM studio.
Oh my God!
I have it on my playlist. I can't get enough of it.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
that's amazing.
So we were driving the other night to dinner, Tam and I. She's like, what the fuck are you listening to? I said, Lithium actually plays deep cuts. I said, before you fucking, she turned it down and I turned it back. She goes, what are you doing? I said, it's Soundgarden. And it was like Rust, like something that doesn't get played.
Yeah.
It's like I was listening to the Smashing Pumpkins the other day, and the name of the song is Soma. It's not like it's not one of their fucking 5 radio hits.
Right.
And it's like there's to me that's the beauty of life. I was talking to Austin today, and we were just talking about like as we get older how much we just appreciate every fucking day we have. And that's my whole thing. It's just like, it's not about anything more than the enjoyment I get. Like, number one, when you get to that point, and I've been at this point for a long time, where I'm absolutely 100% cool with just being with me. Like, I really dig being with me. I don't argue.
You always like what's on the radio. You never want to change it.
I don't fucking if I decide to pass gas, there's no judgment. I just give it a little spray of lilac in the crib or in the cab. But it's one of those things where, and it's just, I sat today. I ran out of my coffee. And I didn't want my wife to go up and buy like a pound or 2 pounds of some coffee that was not what I usually drink. So I'm waiting for this select blend, this Lion. It's called Lion. It's from I think it's from Kona. But they have a vanilla macadamia. Because I only drink fucking like 8 ounces of coffee. So that fucking cup of coffee, man, that's everything to me.
Right.
And so, like, I'm down to just a little. And Tam ordered it. I know I'll probably get it in 2 or 3 days. It'll be there probably next Wednesday. So I said, man, I'll just go by Dunkin' Donuts and grab a cup of. And so it was so hot when I got it. By the time I got to the gym, I hadn't even started it. So I just sat my car in front of the gym, and like just sat there, and it was like T opened the door, sat down, and DJ'd for me.
Mm.
You know, it was like System of the Down, Chop Suey. It's just like, it was like 8 songs that T would have fucking just handpicked for me. And I was just like, and then I went in and I had this amazing workout, super pump. And I was just like, all of a sudden I look, I'm like, oh shit, it's 6:31. Like, I got to get my ass fucking down to the condo. And, you know, so that's
was T
why.
telling you that too, by the way.
No, I got in the zone today. I had buys and tries and shoulders. And it was just like, ugh. So people will probably wonder, like, why does Nash wear tank tops and shit when he comes down to do the like? I drove right from the gym, like, to here. Like, I didn't have to. I'm not gonna, you know. I guess because I own this 3-bedroom, I should probably have a piece of clothes in it. I got a Juggalo jersey in the other room that I brought down when we had Joe on.
Right.
And I have the blue shirt that T put on when he got cold. It's draped across his chair across from me, and that doesn't move. And that's it. There's nothing else down here. So
Kev, naturally, since we talked about music, I'm going to ask you the Mount Nashmore to give me your 4, in no particular order, just on Nashmore.
My 4 favorite bands.
4 rock groups. Yep. Don't even have to be your favorite, but who belongs on Nashmore?
Well, they would have to be mine. I mean, it's going to be to me, it's like I'm on the island. You know, it's always that you're on a desert
island discs.
Yeah, like what are your 4? So that's another question. Is it a desert island or a deserted island?
That's a really good question. I've always heard it said desert island, but I
it's
think
actually
one DJ fucked that up, and every DJ followed it.
And it's a deserted island.
Yeah.
A desert island, fucking, you could be on Aruba.
And I think desert, by definition, means lack of water. No,
right.
And if you're on an island, it's the exact opposite of lack of water. You're actually surrounded by it. So we're going to call it a deserted island.
So on a deserted island, and you've got 4 vinyls you can have. So that's the thing now. It's just 4 vinyls. So it's not going to be my favorites. It's going to be what will get me. And it's just, I'll state the genre. So absolutely would have to have the Beatles. I'd have to have the Beatles. And my favorite Beatle by far was John. So anything that's Lennon heavy. T used to sing, like, I don't know if you've ever noticed when Lennon would sing, his mouth would, and when T sang, he reminded me of Lennon.
Like you mean what the formation of his mouth?
Yeah, his mouth would, the way he would just like, the formation of how he had a very Lennon vibe to him.
Okay.
So the Beatles would be one. I'm going to go Pearl Jam.
Mm-hmm.
I got to have that era. Then I have to have... fuck, man. I'm going to have to fucking throw Depeche Mode in there. I would have to have that kind of... like that kind of a vibe. And they were my favorite... The Smiths were close, but like I was the Depeche Mode guy.
Because you never know when you're going to have some homoerotic, situation on. But you're alone on the desert island.
Yeah, but man, I might want to fucking just dance.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
That's the policy of truth you're singing right now, is it not? Yep. I'm
Hitting targets.
I'm gonna put something out there, and I'm gonna take you to task on something here. Despite your physical resemblance to James Hetfield, you're not a Metallica fan.
I'm not a hater. I would love, like, Orion, like early. I think what happened was, I think that Napster thing with Lars put like a bad, like, that was like, you know what I mean? It was almost like he took that brand and made it feel so corporate at a time when
that was very Nash of him to do.
Oh, in retrospect, absolutely. But at the time, it was like, wow, kind of a dick move. You know,
it definitely didn't align with the sentiment at the time when technology was growing and fans were experimenting. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
but he wasn't wrong.
No, in retrospect, right now, I just saw a thing where Ticketmasters, where the average ticket price is now $198 to go to a concert, and it was fucking $96 like 4 years ago.
I think it was pretentious of Lars to do that, Kev.
God bless him. People always say that Hatfield and I looked like the only thing that makes us look the same is we both have like short gray hair. We look nothing alike.
And the beard.
Yeah, but we look nothing alike.
I think there's some facial similarity. You have light eyes. You have like lighter eyes, right? You have like green eyes or something, right? So like I think he's got that too. I think you could play him in the biopic, to be honest with you.
I don't know, man. That 6'10" thing's going to be fucking.
Yeah, but Nicole Kidman's going to play Lars.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we can get away with it then.
Yeah. You're missing one band on your Nashmore / Deserted Island discs.
Oh,
Wesley said Korn.
Yeah, I gotta have. So I got the Beatles. I need something fucking heavy. I gotta have some fucking heavy metal.
Guns N' Roses?
No. God.
AC/DC?
No, never. I'm gonna go fucking Ozzy.
Okay. Solo or Sabbath?
Either, because the thing that I love the most about I always loved his vocals, man. When it comes down to it, that's what makes a band to me. You can put it's the vocals.
All right, so
like I'm lyrically driven, vocally driven, and then if they just happen to be. But then again, it's just like I can't leave Zeppelin out of it. I would be able to listen to Zeppelin more than I would Ozzy.
Okay.
So I'll put Zeppelin in there. Sorry, Oz.
You know, I always used to pop when I was a kid, and I'd listen to wrestlers cut promos on TV. And when they had, Jake would do this a lot. There'd be a lyric from like a metal group that he'd work into the promo somewhere. I love that. Did you ever use any musical references in any of your...
I told Sting one time on a Nitro, we were trying to get him to join us, and I said, if you don't mind me quoting the great American poet James Morrison, I said, why don't you do what's right and break on through to the other side? And Steve didn't know the reference. So he watched it back because he wasn't a Doors guy, and he watched it, like did the research, and like was like, whoa, like he knew he didn't know their body of work. Like there are certain songs that just that's like Radiohead. Like we were traveling. I was in my 50s. I'm traveling over in Europe. I'm working as a 6-man against Show and Cena. I think me and Ziggler and God, I don't know who the other guy was. I think me and Ziggler were on the other team together. We were doing the job every night. And it was like raining over in Europe. And I had my little earphones. And I had Rainbows with Radiohead. And it was raining. And then people were playing music. And I said, do you guys mind if I just plug this in? And they were like, no. And I don't think a lot of the people on that bus listened to fucking Radiohead. So at the end of that tour, I think a lot of that crew had an appreciation for Radiohead, and everybody was drinking red wine. Everybody. I mean, I said we got to drop this high calorie fucking beer shit. We got to go to the red wine.
You know, you brought up Sting, and you know, in the pre-show, for anyone who doesn't know, like we do a warm-up, right? We'll talk a little business, but then, you know, we let the audience in, and if you're part of the 11 Soft Club by going to KliqThisTV.com, you're in the room for all that, for the taping, but also the pre-show. And, you know, we're 40 minutes in here. We did some good music talk, and you mentioned Sting first, and we talked some wrestling in the pre-show. And I think what kicked it off was talking about when you had to do the Sting drop.
Right.
In WCW.
Yeah.
And you did fucking 300 feet in 3 seconds.
It was the second tallest. The tallest one, Steve, I think, told me that the tallest one was the new Boston Garden. But you were saying that when we had that conversation, I dropped out of Auburn Hills Palace, and it was 300 plus. I don't know what the United Center was. I know that was a drop. But you were saying, did you do a practice? I said, you know, fuck no, I didn't do a practice. And I said, but, you know, Steve was doing it every week. And I just that alone, to take that risk at that point of the business, when, you know, like that was huge. And then he did the one thing that I don't know what the building was. I remember it like it was yesterday. We were getting to Dallas, and Sting repelled. In Dallas, we'd beaten Dallas like down to the floor by, you know, by the barricade, and Sting
the DDP. I think we were talking about the city for a minute. Okay.
No, we did DDP, and Sting came down and lashed him like on this double harness thing, and took Dallas away with him up into the roof.
Right.
It was, I mean, it was just like, so. And I just remember sitting there watching that, going like, wow. And, you know, people can say whatever they want, that, you know, WCW, you know what, man? There's a lot of guys that were busting their asses doing what, and yeah, was it political? There's never, ever going to be that many stars, that many Hall of Fame guys on a roster fighting for fucking 6 spots. It just ain't going to happen. You know,
that's
and
true.
that's,
at that
you know,
time
and
period.
you just flip that over to you know, when Steve and Rock and Hunter and those guys. I mean, during that early that whole Monday Night War, those two crews were just.
Yeah, I mean, arguably when wrestling was at its best, because you had the two heavies trying to outdo each other, and the fans were the ones that really made out. But it also, you know what? I'm saying the fans made out, but that's when you guys got contracts.
We got paid. We got paid, but it's like anything else. It's like we were the first guys to kind of have a collective bargaining agreement, but not like the NBA guy. Like I was looking today, and so Austin Reeves was, he was unrestricted free agent, and he was looking for an ultra max, $240 million contract. This is a guy that went undrafted. Okay, so he went undrafted free agent, and he's 4 years into the league, and he's demanding 240, and the Pistons want him. And I'm thinking, like, I love the Lakers, but man, fucking if Detroit can get Reeves. I mean, right now Robinson plays that spot, and I mean it's not even a fucking contest. I mean, you got a guy like Reeves that could take that fucking pressure off Cade. I mean, they would. I think they could be. That was the chip they would have needed to probably become a championship team. And Reeves took 180 and stayed with the Lakers. And Luka's there, and then they've got they're trying to work out the LeBron deal right now. I'm hoping LeBron takes a cut, but there's really not that many. They need a big man. They need a 5, and there's just really not anybody out there that I think's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
I think Big Robinson from New York, from the Knicks, could definitely rebound, and I mean he's definitely going to do some. He doesn't need the ball, and that's kind of what they need. They don't need a fucking fourth option. They need somebody to play defense, block shots, and rebound. And
what do you do for the next 5 months with no basketball, Kev?
What
do you?
I
there's
love
no football.
I love the WNBA.
Okay, so you watch consistently?
Shit, man. Every
right.
weekend. If I'm doing something, man, I DVR it. I got a Fever T-shirt.
All right,
I love it.
I mean, you've talked about it a little bit, but I didn't know you watched consistently.
I just love to watch. I love to watch women's basketball because it's so fundamentally sound. And the way they split the floor, the way they just, it's not based on, because it's not played above the rim. So it's just a different game.
Yeah, it is.
It's basketball.
Kev, you're down in Florida, and you've had some hot days, so you've probably spent some time in the pool. Has there been any vandalism to your pool?
So, I've got a camera system that protects my pool. And,
You'd think, yeah, okay. I see that.
I don't know how they got, somehow one night they drained my pool and they drove 5 Suburbans the length of my pool.
Unnoticed.
Yeah. But, that whole thing of the 350-foot cut but nobody takes to account that when the pool was painted and dry with no water, that the president drove like his Suburban along with 5 others the length of the reflective pool. You don't think that had anything,
which was probably not
yeah,
properly reinforced for such activity.
Yeah,
But you see, yours might have been caught on camera. Your personal pool vandalism. Odd that a government facility wouldn't have. Now, I think there's some video that surfaced I saw today of someone leaning down.
Yeah, a girl.
And reaching into the. I don't know if they're going to be positing that that's responsible for everything that's happened?
I think the fact that it's always been green every summer. And it's one of those things where, God bless him, it's like he's 80 years old. He's your 80-year-old grandfather. You can tell him all you want to. He's not going to listen to you. They don't listen. He's at that age, man. He's not going to. Grandpa, every year the algae's really bad and it's really hot early. So, this water comes from the river and the filtration system's bad. And maybe if we spend like $3 million on the filtration system, we might be able to alleviate some of that. But, and on top of that, so the bluest, when I think of like the Caribbean, and I think of like the beautiful, like when you go over the bridge, if you've ever been to the Keys, and there's a marina, and you go over a bridge in Isle Morada, and it's right there it's the water turns from Florida water to Caribbean water in Isle Morada, and that's got to be because the sand is lighter there. When you go to Destin or to Pensacola or to Rosemary Beach or to Seaside, anywhere up scenic 30, the sand is sugar white, and it makes the water just beautiful because the reflection of the sun off the last thing you would want to do is paint it dark blue. If you painted it white, you're going to get a better reflection than you are, but the water's not deep enough. So to me, before you do all this, wouldn't you like maybe put some like pools around it, like little kiddie pools, and paint like different bottoms to see like which one optically in that environment turned out to have the best coloration to that sun and that. Like, to me, I would do that. I would spend $200,000. Well, government money would be $1.5 million, but I would do that. I would do a science project before I gave it to Colin Farrell as the Penguin on the HBO fucking series to get the $14 million no bid contract.
The amount of space that this lunacy has taken in the news when we still have active conflict overseas.
But I just sit there and I say to myself, it's just like, there are two things this week that just, and like I said, I'm spending more and more time alone, and like Tamara and I are in our madman, like little world at night, and like we've been doing a lot of things. Like we're starting to liquidate some things that we have that we're not going to use anymore, some properties and stuff like that. So we've been working on that together. And she's unbelievable. She just, like my SAG pension. I've got 25 years of SAG pension. Mm-hmm. And if I don't file for it now and I die, she doesn't get a dime of it. So if I file for it now, it'll probably take 2 months to kick in. She'll get 25 years of my pension.
You could still work, right?
Yeah, I no longer, like, any residuals that I get don't go towards my earnings for health insurance, but I'm on Medicaid,
right,
or Medicare. I'm on Medicare,
so
it doesn't matter. And I pay $2,000 a month for my wife's health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm blessed that's Max nix, as they say in Germany. So
Not Moxley.
no,
You're
Max
not
nix.
Oh, I thought you were going to run down Moxley here.
Max nix, like that doesn't fucking matter. So you threw in. You don't fucking throw in wrestling when we're having a good conversation.
It shouldn't even. It should never be on the plate. Talking with an ex-world champion multi-time. Sometimes wrestling falls in.
I'm just fucking with you.
I know.
Listen,
if you're gonna fuck with me, I want you to be prepared with a Blue Chew, with a tablet by Blue Chew, provided by Blue Chew, prior to fucking with anybody. And the reason you should do this, Kevin, is because sex is back on the table for guys of all ages, all types, all situations. You know, it's not only back on the table, it's on the counter, the bed, wherever you want it to be. All right? Thanks to Blue Chew Gold. Okay, the new arousal boosting formula is the #1 better sex brand. It's from the #1 better sex brand, Blue Chew. Making bedrooms noisy again, and it just doesn't get you hard. It gets you aroused, turned on. Got performance anxiety, maybe? Not with this bad boy, all right? Blue Chew Gold quiets the noise so you can handle business, daddy. When you take the tablet, get ready to meet your new dick. He's confident, walks into the room chin up, makes eye contact, and this stuff is crazy, all right? I think.
But you got to realize, though, see, Blue Chew has always been amazing for the performance aspect. Mm-hmm. But this Blue Chew Gold has 2 more ingredients. One is with the libido, the other is with the psychology. I mean, so this puts you in this puts you in the mood, not only physically, by giving you a piece of wood that's worthy of anyone's lay,
right?
But it psychologically and mentally puts you in a place where you're aroused and you want to perform.
Yeah, it's like both heads. Both heads. That's
what puts this ahead of any other product on the market. That's why we're blessed to have Blue Chew as our sponsor, and they've been with us since day one.
Absolutely, and in our lives and in your lives, folks. Let's get right to why this works with Kliq This, and it's because we have a special deal for our listeners right now. When you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the 3rd free with the promo code Nash. Promo code Nash. You'll also receive an additional 10% off and free overnight shipping on your first order. Are you kidding me? Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the pod and the bedroom. Baby, there we go. Kev, we have from feedback from some of our friends who have been listening. Fly Guy 7825 says Kevin Nash's legacy is the NWO, point blank. I think the business world would have gone to guaranteed contracts eventually. I just think he, along with Scott, kind of forced the issue with it, and the closest faction, in my opinion, to the NWO is hands down DX. I mean, come on. The shit they were doing on television at that time, only the NWO was doing and getting away with it.
If we didn't push for guaranteed money, favored nations, if we didn't do all those things, and the key is, it wasn't the fact that we got the deals. It was the fact that we went into the WCW locker room and made our deals well known to every top guy in that locker room. That's the difference. People have always gotten paid, but it never was. Nobody knew what Hogan got. they could always suspect. We went to the guys, and I would just say, dude, how much you making? I'm making 800. I'm making this. You need a fucking raise. We're working in the same fucking matches. So, no, it wouldn't have happened because once WCW was dead, if we hadn't have made sure that everybody was smartened up, then it would have went back to WWE being the only game in town, and there might be a downside, but it was not going to be the parameter that it was.
It's almost weird that it didn't happen prior, where everyone talks about unionization in the locker room, and that would have been very hard. But at least an informal one where someone went, "What'd you make for the pay-per-view? Would you?" And there was no collective
nobody
pressure on the office ever. People just
not till I watergated into Titan Tower and found the pay sheets and saw that Brett and Taker were making the same as Diesel was, and I was the champion. Like, there was no difference. I was making the exact same money as Brett and Taker.
Right.
And it wasn't like I had a problem with it. I just knew how the system worked.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But you always, it was always like Hulk, got 10% of the gate and everybody else. Like, that was always the rumor. I looked at it and went, no, there's a three-way cut on top of three guys making the same amount of money. And I had absolutely no problem whatsoever with Brett or Take or Scott we could have been on a Magic Mike where we all make $250. It wouldn't have fucking mattered to me because everybody was busting their ass.
But I mean, in every sport, everybody knows what everyone on the team is making,
right?
Because your agent. Your agent's going to use that as leverage.
You could look it up on ESPN.
Well, now you can, but I mean, historically, agents, when they went to bat for their starting point guard or new draft pick from the NFL, they based that on the industry and the team. And in wrestling, they always kept that shit to the vest. Even the workers didn't talk to each other about it.
The NBA players, I think that the percentage they get of revenue is 55%. Like, that's what they get. Like, an NBA owner doesn't fucking make money. He's got money. He didn't buy that franchise to make money. Now, the appreciation, like when Cuban bought the Mavericks, they were worth $3 and now they're worth fucking, $1.9 billion. And he can sell off 70% of that and still have more money invested in Dallas than, But then again, for the league to offset that, now we got games on Prime that we got to pay for. We got games, So it's the same as. I just wish that the WWE guys were getting a bigger percentage of what was being brought in than they are. I'd like to, for it to be an open door to sit down, and it'll never get there, because, I made some inroads with SAG, and it's just.
In relation to their representing WWE on-camera talent?
Yeah. And I think that I don't think that people realize, like, if you're a member of SAG, like, you have to pay a percentage of your dues, of what you make.
Of your earnings toward your dues, yeah.
And I don't know if it's 2 or 3% or whatever it is, but, shit, I'm still, quarterly paying $800, $900, for just to be a member of SAG, just on residuals. So.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? I wanted to get involved And it was one of those things where just like as I started to dive into it, I sent a message to Andrew Young, and he got back to me, but I didn't get back to him because it was just like, what benefit does this do to me?
Well, not directly.
There's no. I'm done.
Well, you personally are done, but you could help right or wrong in an industry that paid you handsomely and set you up for the rest of your life.
I could, but if there, I mean, they're already. Everybody has their own coach. Like they're already so far above where we were that it's not jealousy or anything else. It's just like the industry has grown, and the top talents' pay has grown substantially, tenfold when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe you would have needed something like that more when you were.
I think more than
300 days a year.
But there wasn't. That's the whole thing. There wasn't the Netflix money. There wasn't the ESPN money. Like they didn't have this. You just have to look at it from both sides. That's the biggest problem we have on Earth, and I'm learning that at 67 years old. That when it comes down to it, when you walk into a Target, 75% of the people in that Target you could sit down and have dinner with and absolutely fucking get along with. It's the fringe 12.5% on each side that you can't. And, you know, when we were talking earlier today, and we were talking about how the news story broke where an AI, a functioning chip in AI basically broke into the crypto. It broke the code. And it was, they said it would be 2050, then 2040, then 2030. Now they're saying that this is already, it's possible that you'll wake up and your wallet will be empty. And if you are pro crypto, you can find 200 people to say that's bullshit. If you're anti-crypto, you can find 200 people to say, no, that's what's going to happen. And it's like, if you take the Israeli situation, I just had a long talk with like my boss of my agency, and he's Jewish. And he's a great fucking guy, and he's been good to me for a long time. And he was talking to my manager, Barry Bloom, who is Jewish, who has been a great friend, mentor, family to me for 25 years, 20-something years. I mean, I love him like a brother. And we were talking, and my agent said, like, he's so scared that he's Jewish that it's gotten that bad. And that fucking breaks my heart, because I don't see somebody, and they're not my Jewish friend. They're not my black friend. They're my friend. And when my friend fucking is like, it doesn't affect me. You
said something on the air a few weeks ago when you were talking about the Isreal situation, and you said Isreal, and you said, hold on, I don't mean the Jewish people. I don't mean Isreal. I'm talking about the IDF, right? Like,
it's Netanyahu.
Right.
It's like
that's a distinction you have to make.
You have to, because it's just like, man, I deep dove into like some Hezbollah stuff, and it's just like, because everybody else is going so anti-Semitic. So I went the other way, and I found 9 billion reasons. You know, it's like, what narrative do you want? Because you could be gaslit, blown, lied to, swerved, whatever you want to call it. But there's if you want, you have to find something that's in your soul. And when I, you know, like when I have my conversation with Christ, and it's just me and him, and we go back and forth, and I'm asking him for guidance. His is just love everybody the same. So I don't hate the Palestinians or the Lebanese, and I don't hate the Israelis. I just know that it's a really fucked up situation that's been fucked up from the concept that you just can't take, like, that you look at the foundation of what happened in the 40s, where they just basically said, no, we're gonna give the Jewish people like this piece of Palestine, and it was the architects that did that it started in such a fucking shit show. And it's just, I don't know what it's like to wake up and know that there's people out there that just, they want nothing more than the ratification of me. They want me gone. And so I have and it just to have the conversation I did with my agent, it hurt my heart. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a fan of Netanyahu. I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. I look at the situation that we're in with Iran right now. I know that before he tore up what Obama did, that we were in a better situation. We talked about last week about where the monies came from. And that was the arms deal that they had set up with the Shah. And what people don't understand is the agreement that we had, that Obama put together, had the backing of Russia and China. So Russia and China were also co-signers on that agreement. This new agreement does not have China or Russia as a co-signer. You can say whatever you want to about that situation. The bottom fucking line is, this is not co-signed by Russia or China, period. It's a loss. It's a fucking loss. We lost ground. And it was, you know what? Donald Trump, you made a mistake. And that's all I'll say. I won't say that you just made a mistake. Just own up to that. We don't get information. So then we all have to go out to this fucking bullshit social media and Reddit and wherever else we can to deep dive and go on the internet and listen to podcasts. And, you know, all I know is, like, we're in a world where Tucker Carlson is basically leaving the Republican Party.
Mm. Well, what happened, Kev, and we've covered it for, 3 years, but the Republican Party, as you'd always known it, is not MAGA, if that's even a formal thing, but it kind of is not the Republican Party.
No.
The major tenets of the Republican Party, less government interference, That's all upside down. It's all on its head, like with the weaponization of government now, and it's it's everything they were accusing the Democrats of under Biden, is like their calling card now. So I think a lot of people who were old school Republicans are like, this is not our party anymore.
But I think that they've number one, like, people will say that Trump's an idiot. I'm like, wow. Like, he's the most famous human being on the planet. He meticulously fucking put together a 6-3 Supreme Court. And that's for life. And the only other thing I know besides that's the NWO. So it's the NWO and the Supreme Court for
and
life.
The Supreme Court.
I
think Ruth Bader Ginsburg would have looked fucking dope in one of those T-shirts.
Well, if she would have fucking backed out, we would have lost a spot. But anyway.
You still have heat with RBG.
Sorry, man. And fucking McConnell fucking not letting fucking Obama drop our boy Garland in. But then again, Garland was such a horrible AG. I think he probably did us a fucking favor. But then you got this whole socialist Muslim movement in New York City, and like that's a whole crazy different movement. You got the guy up in Maine that's a Democrat. So I mean, you've got some. But then you've got, what's the cat's name in Georgia? Is it what's his name? The senator not Warlock, the white boy from Georgia.
Ossoff.
I've been watching him speak lately, and fucking man, he's giving me such a fucking JFK vibe. Like, I don't know who's got to him and worked with him, but man, I remember when I saw Obama speak when he was a senator, and he spoke at the Democratic convention. And I told my wife, I said, that's going to be our first black president. I said, you watch. I said, that's going to be our first black president.
About Warnock?
No, about Obama when he spoke.
Oh, about Obama. Oh,
yeah. So now with this, I'm watching this Oslo cat, and I'm like, this fucking guy. He's got some. I mean, he's got it. He's got the charisma, the chops. He's got the cadence. He's got the bullet points, and he's just not afraid. And he knows where we're at as a country, and I have a lot of friends of mine that really there was tension and there was some. We didn't contact us. We always stayed friends, but it wasn't as often that we contacted because I would see their posts and I'd be like, wow. And it was at that point of the game when, if I put up a picture of that Steve had AI'd of me and Kamala fucking hugging, I was public enemy number one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've gotten by that now because I don't care what your standing is or where you are. I think we've all taken at least a taste of shit in the last this last run, and I don't think anybody fucking wants to eat shit. And I think we want to look for alternatives. And
even those up at the altar got the host and went.
Yeah, they're like, whoa! I thought that was Fluffernut on the host. No, man, that was Hank Cramlin fucking handing out little pieces of shit at Hudson's. But that was a Detroiters reference in case anybody has.
I was going to say, you're going deep on that. Go ahead.
Deep dive. But no, I just think, man, it's just like we have got to fucking pull it together. Like, we've got to pull it together. And it's just, I'm just, and like, I watched Obama speak like several times, and let me think who was. It was Barnes, and I think it was another one of the NBA players. It was a podcast. I know it's Barnes was one of the dudes. I want to think it might be. It's not Sprewell, but I just watched it the other day.
Chris Webber. I don't know. You just want me to throw players out?
It was. But basically, you know, they were saying like how like Trump just won't let Obama out of his mind, and you know, we always, you know, if you say anything, you get the far right hits you with the TDS. Man, motherfucker, there's a lot of OBS out there. You know, it's just like
Obama derangement syndrome.
Yeah, ODS. But I mean, it's like, and it's just everything that he does. Like when they open up his presidential library, it's just like, oh fuck, man. I remember when, and I'm sorry, man. Like Biden might have been like, he was okay. He was a Democrat. He was just, I mean, Obama kind of gave him the fucking, like he gave him the fucking, I don't even know what they're called, but the lead to the fucking, the carriage, the reins. He gave him the reins. He gave him the reins of the carriage in Central Park, and he's like, go ahead and take this group around. And then all of a sudden the family gets in and fucking Biden gets out to take a picture, and now they get fucking one of the people in the fucking cart are killed, and now we can no longer have horse rides, but we didn't know that fucking Biden was that fucking bad. So, I mean, but when you go back to Obama, I still say that it's almost a miracle that a black man can be the president of the United States and still not have a scandal. Nothing. 8 years, nothing. Now the new thing is Michelle is a man. Like,
well, that stupid UFC.
But they are
commenting the
and
UFC
a lot of people jumped onto it. I'm not going to even, I'm not even going to like. It's so ignorant, and it makes you it makes you look ignorant. If you've ever like you see like Michelle walking around pregnant with one of the girls, I'm like, really? Like that like, come on, man. We're really at that. This is where we're at.
It gets play, but it's the stupidest.
Yeah, and it's so, God, man, it's so adolescent. It's so adolescent, and so ignorant, and I just can't. I can't wrap. I hate the term too. I can't wrap my brain around it. Well, of course you can't. If you could wrap your brain around it, you'd be a fucking alien. I can't wrap my thought pattern around like that train of thought. Like I'm more worried about our president's fucking physical health than I am that our ex-first lady chromosomally is a man. I mean, if that's really, if we're just talking about just as a human being, what I should care about. I should care more about the President of the United States' health than I should anything else.
Well, but there's a lot of dumb shit that lead to distraction. We talked about the wading pool there, but for a while too, and again, I think I put that in the stupidity category too, as far as what's getting coverage, as much as the.
Do you know what's amazing?
Flippant Michelle Obama comment.
What's absolutely amazing is, I don't know how long ago it was, but I just had like a brain fart. Do you remember when fucking ICE had taken over Minneapolis, and that was like the end of the world? How long ago was that, Steve? How
it wasn't
long
20
ago
years ago. I'll tell you.
How long ago was that? Was that like? It was in the winter. What was it? 7 months?
Yeah.
You know, was
it's
it
like
7?
It's a lifetime because of the bombardment of daily distraction.
It was January of this year. Renee, go.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Going on.
Unbelievable. 7. And
Understood,
now the Supreme Court just passed the temporary
the citizenship
protection sanctions on the Haitians and the who else was it? It was the Haitians and was it Dominicans?
It was 2.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Dominicans.
No, it wasn't Dominicans.
I know it was the Haitians because
Right.
Come on, guys.
Let's see.
Steve.
I have it up here. So, Syrians. Yeah.
Sorry, Sammy.
That was today.
Yeah. So, and that was a 6-3, and now they're set for deportation. So, but then you look at what's going on in Europe with wide open immigration and just the funk that's happening to each one of those countries over there. Like some of the shit that I see in the streets of Paris, I'm just like, yeah, let me spend $10K to get a flight so I can drop over and see the Mona Lisa during that fucking bullshit.
But here's the thing.
And on top of it, it's 104. Perfect.
Yeah, they're having a bit of a heat wave. I hope their pools haven't been vandalized and they can cool off.
You know the air over there, man. It's like 80s fucking sweet.
The thing, though, Kev, with this is, and then we can move on. You don't have, you have each party, not each party, you have the vocal parts of each party so indebted to a position that nobody can understand. We need more Democrats saying we do need some immigration overhaul. And it goes beyond the wall. The wall, again, very a distracted topic. It popped up today on my news feed that he's rushing to finish the wall. And the wall was emblematic of the larger immigration issue. And what happens because the wall and the way it was handled and ICE's behavior in not just Minneapolis, you don't hear Democrats take a side because it sounds like you're talking like a Republican now, right? So they go to their corners. They go to their separate corners.
Because that's such an ass beating we took on immigration when it was almost like as soon as Biden and that's the whole thing. Biden got into office and he tore up everything that Trump had put together immigration wise. Just like when Trump got in office, he tore up everything that fucking Obama had put together
With health care.
No, and Iran.
And the Iran deal, right?
No, they didn't tear up fucking Obamacare.
Right,
They,
he wanted to.
He wanted to, and
That
we're
was
still,
the bird call.
And now, 23 years later, we're still waiting on the fucking health.
The new plan. It's 2 weeks away.
2 weeks away, but yeah, I agree with you. And it's just like, no, we have to. You know, I understand that there has to be like a happy medium on this, because they won't do the affordable housing. If he doesn't do anything in 8 days, that housing act that they passed will go through. He had 10 days. I think he's got 10 days to veto that, but he wants to get that voting ID.
The other thing in first.
He wants to get that in
voting,
first, and it's like, you know, you can't. I mean, I think that at a bare minimum, that in order to vote for president of the United States, you should at least have to fucking show as much ID as you do to buy a 6-pack of beer. I don't think that that's fucking outrageous. If I was a Democrat, that would be my fucking position. If I was running, like, it shouldn't have to be fucking a passport and fucking a chromosome sample.
Right.
But it sure as fuck should be a picture, a government fucking, and you know what? And instead of asking me for fucking money because they're doing this or they're doing that, and fucking will fucking match it 700%, why don't you fucking grassroot like they did? You've got 2 fucking years, and go to all of these fucking areas that are poverty stricken, that are urban, that people don't have IDs, and get organized and get those people a system where they can go and get the paperwork done and get to a star identification. You don't have to have a driver's license, but you can still
whatever you decide it is, let as many people get it, and that's the chasm.
Yes,
because they don't want as many people voting as possible. There's far more of us than there are of them.
Right. So that's my whole thing. So as long as, you know, the number one thing we have to do is we've got to fucking, the Electoral College gone. That's got to be horse shit. That's just, you know, like,
there's no reason for it anymore.
If that's the case, then we need to rewrite the Second Amendment and put in fucking big, broad letters, and it can only be fucking a fucking black powder musket.
To serve a militia.
Yeah, you can walk in. They just passed where you can fucking walk into fucking a grocery store or anything else now with a firearm. And I think you can do it in California, as long as the owner's all right with it. Well, how the fuck's he gonna know? Now you got metal.
Just blow him away.
I mean, that's what we
talking
you know
about.
What we need is more guns.
Some people would agree with you. Those are people I don't understand, but some would agree with you.
I don't have a problem with it. I think that in order to have a fucking, to me, a firearm is a tool, and it's no different than an automobile. It's like something that there has to be a process where you're taught how to properly use a motor vehicle before you're given a driver's license. You have to do a test. You have to go out and parallel park. You should be able to show that you can work a fire. At least there should be that process before you can purchase a handgun.
Well, okay, sure. If we're gonna if it's still going to be legal to do, yes, I agree. There should be some kind of process. But a motor vehicle, though, as you know, serves many purposes. Wonderful, getting you to work, getting grandma out of the hospital real quick. A gun serves one purpose, and that is to maim and kill. That's it.
You know, but
I mean, you can go shoot shit in your backyard. I guess people enjoy that. It's recreation.
It maim and kills. But when people ask why I have firearms, I say to defend my property and my family. Like mine is completely defensive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not offensively. Like, I hate that I have to carry. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was in a world that I didn't have to carry, but I know everybody. I fucking see too many times. I see a guy in the fucking grocery store walk by me, and I know he's carrying.
See, but that's the thing.
So,
you're carrying because others carry. If they weren't carrying, you wouldn't
now
have
it's
to
too
carry
late.
either. No, I know that. But
yeah, it's too late.
if we were in a world where nobody was carrying, you wouldn't feel the need to have to carry. So you're carrying because the law exists as it does.
Right.
Right.
And I also grew. I mean, I think once you go through the military, I think that you have a different mindset on what that weapon, what a firearm is.
I don't think anyone has a problem with the military using them.
No.
It's the average Joe at the stoplight, which, where you could maybe flip someone off or have some words with someone. Now we got some guns going to get whipped out while your kids are crossing the street from school.
You have to fucking... If you don't know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, don't run your mouth because everybody else does. They're going to take you down on the ground and pound you. So if you're not fucking packing a firearm, don't fucking flip somebody off in a fucking jacked up truck. You have to be smart enough.
Fine philosophy, but as you know from reading the news, it doesn't happen.
Well, because people are stupid. But you have to be. I don't fucking. I don't pull next to anybody. Like if I cut somebody off, and I don't see them. Like I did it to a biker about a month ago, and sometimes, man, they drive so fast, and they want to go up the middle of the lane, and I just didn't see him. And I'm a fucking good driver, and I pay attention, and when I'm not going 111, and like we got to the fucking, and the guy was just fucking cussing the fuck out of me when we got to the next red light. I put my window down. I put my hands like this out the side of my window. And I said, sir, my fucking bad. I didn't fucking see you. I said, I know that doesn't change the fact that I almost hit you. I said, I just didn't see you. I said, I love motorcycles. It's why I don't drive them. I said, there's two kind of people that drive motorcycles. I said, one that hasn't had an accident and is on his way to having one, and one that has had an accident. I said, those are the two people that drive motorcycles. And I know that fucking from friends. Every one of them that's put in 10 years has been in a wreck. That drives. Not some guy that's got some $75,000 fucking bike in his, that's got 11 miles on it. I'm talking about somebody like Robbie Steiner. When you look at fucking Robbie's bike, and Robbie's fucking Harley had 53,000 miles on it. Robbie fucking drove a fucking bike. And Robbie fucking almost got killed. Going home, a guy fucking cut him off, and Robbie, because he was a fucking freak of nature, was able to fucking, as he got hit, basically run up the hood of the fucking car and land on fucking his feet like a Wolverine, but he almost got killed. It would have killed. Lex almost fucking got killed.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody just got to fucking, man, just fucking chill the fuck out.
I'm hoping more people will with the legalization of THC. If this continues to happen, people will.
Well, you know, I'm just, I don't know. I'm so pretentious at times. I just say.
You're very unpretentious today, Kev.
Yeah,
I have to say.
Oh well, you know.
You were a little political, but you weren't pretentious, I don't think. But all this discussion about Second Amendment, all that, this is a fine segue into Florida Man, Jersey guy. I think, Kev. Two headlines, actual headlines. One, a Florida man responsible for the other one, a Jersey guy, and Kevin will identify them just from hearing the headline. First one, man, 84 years old, sues over injuries after becoming distracted on the road by a Waffle House ad.
That's Florida.
And can I finish?
There's not a Waffle House in New Jersey. They don't go that far.
Are you sure, South Jersey, that
Nope.
that I can't get a Waffle House? Every Waffle House I've ever been to has been outside of the state.
You might get an omelet shop, but you won't get a Waffle House.
Well, you're correct. I didn't realize it was a layup for you, though.
Yeah.
I feel like we might have brought the map up once before. Oh, no, was it Cracker Barrel? I'm thinking of Cracker Barrel is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no, Waffle House. I guarantee if you pull up a fucking Waffle House, it's Mason-Dixon.
Maybe Maryland? Can I get one in Maryland, maybe?
I don't think so.
Once I hit Virginia, it's, look at that. Hold on. Zoom in.
Cameraman.
I think we're going to. Jersey is blacked out, but look at that. That's where that's where the blackout starts. Even goddamn Pennsylvania has 10, but it looks like Maryland. I'm okay, right? 4 of them. I think that looks like 4 in Maryland. Yeah, and then it's fair game south of that. 445 in Georgia, for Christ's sake. All right, yeah. Jersey.
I've remember when like. Every four-way stop in any kind of developed area had a Walgreens on one side and a CVS on the other, and like a Rite Aid on the other one. And
it's like AEW and yeah.
But I mean, I have been in places in Georgia before where there are 4 or 3 of the 4 corners have a Waffle House. I mean,
that much. Well, good for them. There's that much damn demand,
and packed on a Sunday.
Yeah,
you're sitting in the fucking sitting out in your car waiting.
And the exclusive diet for many a wrestler. The Jersey headline, so at least you have it, is man charged with stealing money from donation box for an animal shelter. All right, back with Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast. Time for Ask Nash, and that's what you get to do when you join the 11 Soft Club by going to kliqthistv.com and joining us for our tapings, our live tapings here, like our live audience has. Let's get some questions in for Kev. All right, who's up? Moose Fitzgerald. Hey, Kev, what series are you watching lately, and which would you recommend?
I just started watching season 2 of The Agency. I think that's brilliant. It's a one-on-one studios. I'm watching. I've been watching. My wife and I have been watching Mad Men. We're in season 6. I think episode 2 on that. So we'll be rounding that up. I think we're going to go. We talked about our next callback, and she hasn't seen all of The Sopranos.
Oh, well.
So we're probably going to do Sopranos, or because it's summertime and we don't watch much TV, we might go back to Blue Bloods, or Bloodline, I'm sorry. Bloodline with Kyle Chandler on that Netflix classic.
Not the Bloodline angle. You're not going to show her the Bloodline angle, are you? All right.
But that was a great show. It got cut short because the that Rayburn Inn got destroyed in that hurricane down there in the Keys, and so I think there's only 3 seasons of that, but some really good character development. That was a great show. I think it was a show that we loved because T would sit and watch that with us, and there was very few things that he would drag him down to watch TV with us, but that was one of them.
Thank you, Moose.
But the agency, and also August the 2nd, Linus starts back up, which is a Taylor Sheridan's. I think it's one of his best shows. I remember we bashed Landman because of his portrayal of the female characters in that. I just don't think that's his strong point. I think his strong point is, man, it's like the Linus. I don't know if anybody's watched that show, but man, I love him. I love his character in the Linus. He's like a special forces, like an old school fucking guy that's, you know, been there, done that. But there's an episode where they end up in the border of Mexico, and they've got to get back, and they have a shootout that's fucking like heat worthy as far as just shootouts, and they end up having to take off and drive a Suburban like off a fucking deal into the water, and then they send a chopper to the cartel, pull up, and they start firing at they take some casualties and shit, but like it's just one of those. The Linus is one. I also love the Mayor of Kingston. I love that show. I think that's gritty and fucking great. If you haven't watched that, that's the summer of fucking television right there. So those 2 shows are strong. But the agency's really good, smart. It's espionage.
Gotcha. All right, Moose, there's some for you to start with.
Richard Gere is the head of the CIA in London.
In the agency.
In the agency.
Okay, right. I saw him in something.
That's Michael. What's his name? Michael Fassbender.
Yes.
Yeah,
Michael's he played
the dude
he
that
played
was
Steve Jobs, right, in that documentary.
Yeah, he was also that sniper. That he was in that sniper movie where he fucking plays the Smiths when he fucking before he makes kills and shit. He was also, and then that guy, I can't think of his name. He's the black actor that was in Westworld that fucking stole it. But he's in that. If you just look at if you pull up on IMDb and pull up the agency and look at the cast, it's real fucking strong. One of the guys from The Wire's in there. So, yeah.
All right. Very good. All right, who's next? All right, D. Harmaducious, let's just call him Danny. Please help refresh my memory here. What is the origin of 11 Soft? I was under the assumption it's a reference to Pentas, where guys always their duck are huge. That is correct. We were talking about
it was always I'm a normal
the
size
letters,
guy.
Penthouse letters, right?
The forums.
Yeah, forum.
Penthouse
right,
forum. Yeah, I'm just a normal sized guy. 11 Soft.
Yeah, that was in an early episode, Danny, and it was one of those take it and run with it things.
Yeah.
Very NWO, very spooky fingers kind of thing. It just happens one night, and it just becomes a thing. Thank you for being 11 Soft with us, Danny. Spider drummer Sean and/or Kev, any great memories of Leon White, a.k.a. Vader, aside from the smelly ring gear?
You know, I was over in Japan with Leon for a couple of tours. You know, he was a god over there. And it was just, I think that's where he kind of cut his teeth, and that's where he got over. and he was such a different. He was just different over there. I think when you watch Stan work in Japan, and you watch Stan work, later in his career in the States, Stan was so different in Japan. I'm talking about Stan Hansen.
Hansen, yeah.
I'm talking about, but I just think that that Leon, I think everybody loves the culture. It's such a great place, and you're appreciated, and it's just, I don't know, there's some good camaraderie. You are on a bus, you get to drink some beers, and you get to work, man. It's just, I don't know. I cherish my my tours of Japan. Looking forward to going back on vacation.
All right. Ace Ramon, remember that episode of SpongeBob where they're cussing but making dolphin sounds? My favorite. Supposedly there's a taped, uncensored version that's hidden somewhere at Nickelodeon.
I remember that. My favorite one is when they go all the way to the bottom of fucking Bikini Bottom, like they go to the bottom of the fucking earth. This would be the bottom of the sea. And everybody's like everybody's fucking these. T and I used to, man, we would fucking, especially when he got older and we'd get stoned and watch it.
I love that Kevin Nash has a favorite episode of SpongeBob.
Well, I just think it's fucking just brilliant TV.
I'm not, no judgment. I think people would be surprised by that fact. That's all.
Like T and I would often meet, like we'd meet somebody, and then like they would walk away, and we'd just both look at each other and go, "Such a Patrick."
I don't watch, and I even know what that means.
Yeah.
All right. Another question here from someone. Check Steve's pulse. All right. Sean, you almost pronounced it right. Harmaducious. Yeah, I know. I tried, Danny. I apologize. Moose, that guy that played Bernard in Westworld?
Yes.
Is that Jeffrey Wright? Is that the reference, Wesley, that you have there? Is that Jeffrey Wright?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right, let's get one more in here. Someone bring it home.
I want to say something.
Go ahead.
So somebody they put on I don't know where it was, but they were making reference to me driving as fast as I was driving the other day, and
they said it's never safe to drive that fast ever. Why? I saw that post. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, and I'm like, I remember the first Mercedes S-Class we got, and Tamara and I were driving from Phoenix to Palm Springs. And we got out in the desert, and I mean, there wasn't anybody on the road. And it was the 140 body style. And it was, it was a big S-Class. And I was going 85, 90, and I said, and it was just like, and I had the cruise on, and I said, "Fuck, let me just see what this thing will do." And like at 120, I felt like I could get out and walk next to it. At 130, I felt like I could get out and walk next to it, because that car was built for the Autobahn back when there was no speed limits, and I drove like I lived in Germany for several years. And I drove the Autobahn when you were going fucking 120, 130 miles an hour, and you'd get flashed by a 911
to move over,
to get the fuck over, you slow motherfucker. And I had a BMW 733 at the time, and so I don't know. if you have a vehicle that I would never do that in a vehicle I wasn't familiar with, but I've driven this Mustang I have. I mean, it takes 10 quarts of oil when you change it. So that's the size of the engine block. So this thing doesn't do really well as far as a daily driver when you drive 35 to 40 miles an hour up and down the beach, and that's all you ever do. And it's the same with our S550. You got to get that son of a bitch out on the fucking road, on the highway, and you got to run that son of a bitch, because that's what they're built for. And as soon as you do, like when I got off the interstate, it's like it was like I took a wild stallion and let it fucking I took a saddle off and smacked it on its ass and said, come back when you're done running. And he came back like, fuck, that was sweet. Thank you. Thank you for that. And like I said, that if that jack off wouldn't have fucking interfered with I was fucking in the middle lane completely fine, and I know how to drive. I mean, I've spent fucking 30 years on the road, 250 days a year driving. Most days I put in 500 miles. A lot of days, minimum 3. So it's like, you wonder why that fucking guy, the truck driver, drives fucking 95 miles an hour, because fucking it's all he does. And the sooner he gets to where he's got to go, man, he can drop that fucking shit off. His day's over. And he's only got so many hours to be on the road. So, yeah, it might not be safe to you, like for Kevin Nash to do a hurricanrana off the top rope, I'm going to get fucked up. But for Rey Mysterio, it's like brushing his teeth. So it depends on who the person is performing the fucking apparati. And Kevin Nash can drive. And I can drive. I wouldn't drive fucking 150 in that car. It's not built for that. But fucking 120 and a fucking 5.0 that's chipped to probably 500 horsepower, it's fine. Tires that got maybe 3,000 miles on it. Brakes have just been redone. I'm good.
It's Nash's Squisher. It's like La
baby.
Parka's hurricanrana.
You got it, baby.
Kliq This is a production of Bush and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2026, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, you want to do another one?
Can you believe they're going to Saudi Arabia?
Customer service never answers a thing. Let us free to breathe in air we're supposed to breathe. Through twists and turns you've come to love me. Now I'm cold, I'm the custom